The morning light crept through the fog that blanketed a quiet Denver street. It was one of those cool spring days when time felt still. A car sat parked alone on the shoulder, dew forming on the windshield. Inside, everything looked ordinary, until you saw the rear-view mirror. Hanging from it was a single piece of torn paper, ink smudged and words barely legible. "They've found the place." That was all it said. Isaac Walters hadn't been seen in days. He was 30, a freelance writer, the kind of person who preferred the solitude of a corner booth, always with a black coffee and half-finished manuscript open on his screen. On May 2nd, 2018, Isaac arrived at his usual café, Mocha Light, tucked between a bookstore and an art gallery downtown. The baristas knew his order. The locals knew his routine. But something was off that afternoon. He typed for nearly 2 hours without pause, his drink untouched. Then, just before 2 p.m., an older man, gray coat, leather gloves, approached him. The two exchanged only a few words. No handshakes, no pleasantries. Isaac stood up, slid his chair in, and walked out, leaving behind his laptop, jacket, and phone charger. He never came back. The cafe's security footage offered no answers, just more questions. The stranger couldn't be identified, and the camera feed skipped 6 full seconds when Isaac stood up to leave. When police arrived later that evening, they found the laptop still running, a draft open on the screen titled, "The Place No One Should Ever Find." A few hours later, Isaac's car was discovered on the city's northern edge, parked near an abandoned industrial corridor that hadn't seen activity in over a decade. No signs of a break-in, no struggle. The car was locked, keys were gone, his jacket and phone were missing, but what they found hanging from the mirror was chilling. The message, "They've found the place." It was written on torn notebook paper, the kind Isaac always carried. Experts said the ink had smudged, as if touched while still wet, hurried, maybe written in fear. It was the only physical clue in a case that was about to get even stranger. Just a mile away from where his car was found, Isaac's phone was discovered lying face down on the grass at Crestmore Park. It had been turned off. Forensics showed it was last used at 2:17 p.m., less than 30 minutes after he left the cafe. No fingerprints were found on the phone. Not even Isaac's. By the following week, the case had gripped Denver. Then came the rumors. Witnesses came forward, quietly. A woman walking her dog claimed to have seen a group of men in dark coats gathered near the park the day Isaac vanished. Another neighbor reported strange noises coming from the woods behind his property that same night. "Chanting," he said. Flickers of light. The word "ritual" started circulating. Isaac's landlord eventually gave police access to his apartment. It was modest. Books stacked floor to ceiling, printouts taped to the walls, conspiracy theories, historical references, cult symbols, and tucked between the bookshelf and radiator, investigators found something odd: a false wall. Behind it, an unfinished space, like a forgotten storage room. There was only one thing inside: a large wooden chest, padlocked and covered in dust. When police broke it open, they found notebooks filled with sketches of symbols, hand-drawn maps, and journal entries written in Isaac's neat, frantic handwriting. One entry read, "I'm getting close. The symbols match. The building is real. They know I've seen it." Taped to the back of the chest was a photo. A weathered brick building overgrown with ivy. Faint graffiti on the wall. A circle intersected by 3 lines. A symbol found on the last page of his journal. The photo was captioned, "I'm close. They're watching." Investigators scoured city records, trying to match the structure in the photo. After weeks of searching, a breakthrough came. The building matched an old sanitarium just outside the city, decommissioned in the 1960s after a string of unexplained deaths. It had long since been closed to the public, its entrances boarded up, its history buried under decades of silence. But there was something else. Footage from a nearby gas station the night Isaac disappeared. A grainy, time-stamped clip. It showed a black sedan idling near a side road. 3 figures in long coats stood beside it. Moments later, Isaac's car passed them, heading deeper into the industrial zone. Police followed the road. At the end, near the sanitarium, they found tire tracks. Isaac's make and model. But no sign of him. What happened to Isaac Walters? Some say he stumbled onto a secret he was never meant to find. Others believe the group, the one that left behind symbols and whispers, took him. A fringe theory suggests Isaac orchestrated it all himself, a staged disappearance. But if that were true, why leave the message? Why? They've found the place. Online forums erupted with theories. One claimed the sanitarium was a gateway, guarded by a modern cult tracing its beliefs to ancient rites. Another pointed to Isaac's writings, essays about liminal spaces, places between reality and something else. And then, 2 years after his disappearance, hikers exploring the woods behind the sanitarium found something. A second symbol, carved into a stone near the riverbed. The same circle with 3 lines. Beneath it, barely visible, still watching. No one has seen Isaac since. His case remains open, his journals locked in evidence, the sanitarium boarded up once again, this time with concrete, officially declared a hazard, unofficially a site of silence. Isaac's parents left Denver. His friends moved on. But somewhere in the archives, his story still lingers. A vanishing no one can explain. A message no one understands. And a question no one can stop asking, what was the place they found?